Hi, beautiful. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. We're reading in the text, chapter 17, Forgiveness and the Holy Relationship. In section 7, the call for faith. And we will start in paragraph 2. In any situation in which you are uncertain, the first thing to consider very simply is, what do I want to come of this? What is it for? The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning, for it is this which will determine the outcome. In the ego's procedure, this is reversed. The situation becomes the determiner of the outcome, which can be anything. The reason for this disorganized approach is evident. The ego does not know what it wants to come of the situation. It is aware of what it does not want, but only that. It has no positive goal at all. I'll pause here and say, isn't that interesting? The ego only knows what it doesn't want, but it doesn't set a positive goal. And we are such powerful creators that it's important that we know what we want. What do we want to come of this? What is it for? Because if we don't know, by default, then the ego's just taking over. If we don't have any positive intent, then the default mode is the ego not knowing what it wants to come to the situation, and it has no positive goal at all. On to paragraph 3. Without a clear-cut positive goal set at the outset, the situation just seems to happen and makes no sense until it has already happened. Then you look back at it and try to piece together what it must have meant. And you will be wrong. Not only is your judgment in the past, but you have no idea what should happen. No goal was set with which to bring the means in line. And now the only judgment left to make is whether or not the ego likes it. Is it acceptable, or does it call for vengeance? That's interesting, isn't it? The ego has those three metrics. The absence of a criterion for outcomes set in advance makes understanding doubtful and evaluation impossible. The value of deciding in advance what you want to happen is simply that you will perceive the situation as a means to make it happen. You will therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective and concentrate on everything that helps you meet it. It is quite noticeable that this approach has brought you closer to the Holy Spirit's sorting out of truth and falsity. The truth becomes what can be used to meet the goal. The false becomes the useless from this point of view. The situation now has meaning, but only because the goal has made it meaningful. The goal of truth has further practical advantages. If the situation is used for truth and sanity, its outcome must be peace. And this is quite apart from what the outcome is. If peace is the condition of truth and sanity, and cannot be without them, where peace is, they must be. Truth comes of itself. If you experience peace, it is because the truth has come to you, and you will see the outcome truly, for deception cannot prevail against you. You will recognize the outcome because you are at peace. Here again, you see the opposite of the ego's way of looking, for the ego believes the situation brings the experience. The Holy Spirit knows that the situation is as the goal determines it, and is experienced according to the goal. I'm going to pause here and say, isn't that interesting? The ego believes the situation brings the experience and doesn't understand that it's creating the experience, or that consciousness itself is creating reality, not the other way around. The goal of truth requires faith. Faith is implicit in the acceptance of the Holy Spirit's purpose, and this faith is all-inclusive. Where the goal of truth is set, there faith must be. The Holy Spirit sees the situation as a whole. The goal establishes the fact that everyone involved in it will play his part in its accomplishment. This is inevitable. No one will fail in anything. This seems to ask for faith beyond you and beyond what you can give. Yet this is so only from the viewpoint of the ego, for the ego believes in solving conflict through fragmentation and does not perceive the situation as whole. I'm going to pause here and say, what I've noticed with my ego is that when it thinks it's solving something, it's actually creating the problem it claims to be solving. And when I look at that negative feedback loop, it's kind of amazing. It's like, oh my goodness, the ego really is insane. When it tries to fix something, it's usually breaking it. When it tries to solve something, it's usually creating a problem. Therefore, it seeks to split off segments of the situation and deal with them separately, for it has faith in separation and not in wholeness. Wow. Confronted with any aspect of the situation that seems to be difficult, the ego will attempt to take this aspect elsewhere and resolve it there. and it will seem to be successful, except that this attempt conflicts with unity and must obscure the goal of truth. And peace will not be experienced except in fantasy. Truth has not come because faith has been denied, being withheld from where it rightfully belonged. Thus, do you lose the understanding of the situation the goal of truth would bring. For fantasy solutions bring but the illusion of experience, and the illusion of peace is not the condition in which truth can enter. So I think, in other words, if we're having an illusion of peace, that could be the ego being like, well, I got my way, so we're good. But that's not true peace. That's not that deep peace that passeth all understanding, that deep inner knowing that all is well. So, for today and moving forward, it says here, in any situation where we're uncertain, where we're like, what's going on here? Let's ask ourselves, well, what do I want to come of this? What is it for? Because when you've made that decision, then you make it the right decision. You know, it's like, well, I would like everyone to be happy. I would like everyone to be at peace. So that doesn't mean we fix, force, change, correct, or control other people. That's not our job. But we stay in our heart center and we make choices that are aligned with peace, that are aligned with happiness. And if other people are dipping into the nightmare, we look past the nightmare. And it says here that if we don't do that, then we're not able to look past the little things that just pop up during the day, you know? Like, well, I want to be at peace, but this person says something that triggers me. Well, then there's another choice point. Am I going to let it go? Or am I going to turn this into an argument? The ego does not know what it wants to come of the situation. But when we have a clear goal in mind, then we're able to, it says here, make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective and concentrate on everything that helps you meet it. And I think this is really wise advice. You've probably heard this, but where attention goes, energy flows. Where we put our attention, quite literally, and in the world of physics, scientifically, energy goes there. So if we're focusing on everything that could go wrong, that's like praying for problems. But if we focus on our objective and look for evidence of that, then that's allowing for the miracle. So let's allow more of that into our life by asking ourselves, what do I want to come of this? And then looking past anything that doesn't contribute to that outcome. Let's experiment with it. It'll either be helpful or not. And if you feel like you need more clarification, sit with it. The Holy Spirit can bring specific examples happening in your life right now to mind and show you where and how to apply these principles. As a customized course, if you are willing to sit in that stillness with a willingness to understand. The truth will be illuminated within your mind, and you'll know. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.